Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June 12th, 2022. That's right, I'm back at it again. This is a double header. I figured I'd go ahead and just do the little bonus leftovers just right now. Just follow it up. So, let's just get into it. Duh. Got this from AP News. Over 50 feared dead in Nigeria church attack, officials say. So, these gunmen just opened fire. They also detonated explosives at this Catholic church in southwestern Nigeria. I believe the church is called Owo Church, or that might have been the area. But it's undetermined as to the motive, who did it, like why. There have been some, I saw like a little bit of when I did a quick update, that there were some suspicions, but it hasn't been ruled as concrete. I have a quote here. Our hearts are heavy. Ondo Governor Rotimi Akeredolu tweeted Sunday, "Our peace and tranquility have been attacked by the enemies of the people." So it is seemingly believed that this is like an outside attack. But once again, there just hasn't been any like concrete details as to who has done it. The Pope has also responded. The Pope has learned of the attack on the church in Ondo, Nigeria, and the deaths of dozens of worshippers, many children, during the celebration of Pentecost. While the details are being clarified, Pope Francis prays for the victims of the country, prays for the victims and the country painfully affected at a time of celebration, and entrusts them both to the Lord so that he may send his spirit to console them. So, once again, not too many details, but hopefully I can kind of get more updates. Here's another quote to kind of close it out. "In the history of Owo, we have never experienced such an ugly incident." And that's from a lawmaker, Oluwole. This is too much. So, very sad. Hopefully we can get you some updates for sure. And what is this? NBC News. I always mention it's Peacock in case I get it wrong. I'm pretty sure it is NBC. Figure skating minimum age raised to 17 in historic decision ahead of 2026 Olympics. Gradually increasing the age limit from 15 to 17 is necessary for the sake of protecting the physical and mental health and emotional well-being of skaters, officials said. Excuse me. So this is kind of an update from the Kamila Valieva situation. She had tested positive for banned substances in the Beijing Winter Olympics. She was 15 at the time. That was definitely a very, crazy situation. Just because, obviously this is a young girl. Clearly she's just here to compete and do her best. She was a Russian athlete, and they have had a history of doping and all this kind of stuff, even though that's obviously something that's gotten them banned from the Olympics. They have an association that allows them to play and compete. This situation definitely rocked the boat. So she was really rattled. It was really sad. Also, this jammed up other things for other people who are competing and medaled. Essentially they weren't able to have a podium moment because of the situation. So there's a big fallout. So I, for one, think it's good that they are doing this, though I guess there has been a little bit of pushback. Other countries, kind of saying hey, this is definitely a shame because, you have such a small window to compete. And now it's been pushed to 18, or not 18, I'm sorry, 17. So it's kind of shortening the window that you can actually perform and be great and do great. Also, let's see, I think, yeah, Russian figure skating coach Tatiana Tarasova suggested the rule change was aimed squarely at her country. They see that there is a large number of girls and boys in our country, and they want to block them from competing. She said that to Russia's Match TV. The Israeli delegate to the Congress supporting a failed amendment to the proposal argued that the rule change would have a disproportionate impact on smaller nations with fewer skaters. The counter that I really did like to this was from Eric Radford, and he said that the vast majority of skaters were in favor of the change. This is a quote. The life of an athlete is short and intense. Their experience in this short phase sets the platform for the rest of their lives, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. While I hear concerns of nations about the immediate difficulty that they might face with this proposal being passed, is a medal really worth the life of a young athlete? So I really like that quote. I think that really does sum it up. I think that I agree. It's not worth it. Like, sure, all this nationality shit and like rah rah, yeah, we did well, yeah, you're a great competitor, and like also like obviously the rewards of that. I remember like seeing Michael Phelps and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you don't just get on the Subway commercial for nothing. So naturally, there's a lot at stake, but it's better to have your childhood. It's better to be a kid and live a life, and also still having the chance to compete. 17 is still very young, so you still have a great opportunity to perform, I would say. Another update we have here from the Yahoo News via The Independent. Kansas woman who led all-female ISIS brigade pleads guilty to federal terrorism charges. So this is an update from the Allison Fluke-Ekren situation. She's 42 years old. She and her husband had moved. This is her second husband, I believe, and also her children. They moved to Egypt, and they were training. Over 100 women and young girls received military training from Fluke-Ekren in Syria on behalf of ISIS, and that was what the federal prosecutors had wrote in court filings. So she has pled guilty. Her sentencing will be in October. So I just wanted to really kind of just put that out there, inject that. Want to make sure we didn't miss that. It also said that she broke down during the hearing at the mention of her children. So that's kind of a bummer, but definitely this is a situation where they definitely have her just kind of dead rights. So, it would have been better had she not done that. I don't really know what else to add there, but, we'll keep you posted come the date, hopefully. If I don't forget, I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person. All right, moving on. Got this from BBC Sport. That sounds like a cool deodorant. PGA Tour suspends members for playing at LIV golf event. So I learned about this at the top of the week, or like mid of the week, whatever. But essentially, I guess this has been formed by like a Saudi conglomerate of sorts. And it's a thing that they call sports washing, or at least that's kind of what the event has been accused of. But essentially, it's these government organizations by the royalty or what have you that have set up these events and put up a ton of money. They've even poached I think about 17 players from the PGA, and essentially they put up this money for this really cool event, and everyone's like, oh wow, this is dope, cool, awesome. But it has been made off of the backs of people who have funded killings of journalists, killings of people, suppressions of people, all this kind of yada yada blah blah gross stuff. So it's not exactly looked at as a wholesome thing. Also, I guess it's a breach of the PGA setup. You're not allowed to I guess, moonlight in this other tournament or do other things, even though some of the people have kind of said, hey, well, we're doing this and we took the money and we're doing the tour to kind of promote golf and like do more for golf and like expand the platform and range of it. So obviously it's a bit of hot water here. You know, I mean, it's a lot of money. It's said that I think, Phil Mickelson, who is like the biggest name, I think he took it for like 250 million. So, I mean, it's a lot of money. It definitely seems like it's worth it for some of the people to even just take the loss. And some people have kind of like said, hey, yeah, Graeme McDowell said he resigned from the PGA Tour 30 minutes before he teed up. So, you know, he's bummed. I got a quote. I can just use it. It was a difficult decision, but it puts me into a less let me try. Let me try. Litigious situation, he said. I didn't want to resign. The PGA Tour has been great. This is about wanting to add on additional tournaments to my golf career. But AKA, I mean, it's the money. The money's good. So the suspension, like I said, affects 17 players. Let's see. Yeah, $1.6 billion of funding from the Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. So that's kind of where like the source of this is, like the juice of this is coming from. And that's where a lot of like the hot water is coming from. So I really don't know if I'll have too much to add. I thought it was kind of interesting to talk about. I'm not much of a golfer. Also, I wish I had the quote, but I heard the soundbite from the BBC News podcast that they put up. And a guy had asked one of the golfers, he's like, well, would you have competed in like Hitler's golf tournament? And the guy is just so offended. And he like proceeds to add like other people. I think like he said like Mao Zedong or something like that, like a communist tournament in China. And the guy's like, that's not the same thing. That's not what this is at all. Like I'm not answering this question. But that is obviously the outrage, is these people have done, you know, things that aren't good. They are considered atrocities by others. And you guys just said, hey, for the right price, I'll do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I personally am not judging. I have a show corner in my podcast. How the fuck could I? So I get it. The money talks. Money fucking talks. So, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to give this money to somebody to fill the slot. Might as well be you, right? To kind of close out, I have two other bips that I heard, little bumps I wanted to talk about. It's about a military aircraft crash. Actually, this happened twice. Once that there was 5 people who were killed, and then I want to say, I think a day after, there was another. No deaths, but still, just interesting news. And I guess the coverage from the one from ABC, it highlights the son of a former MLB player, Steve Sachs, among 5 Marines killed in training flight crash. So that was the first incident. And then the second was from the AP and also Yahoo News, where I got it from. No deaths from second military crash in 2 days. So I guess the plane that was used is an MV-22 Osprey. And this has been used, you know, even in the Iraq War. So this has been, you know, certified tech. But apparently it's not exactly the best. Apparently, like, it's not exactly known for being good. So, I mean, I don't know what's really come from this. You know, obviously sad to hear 5 people died in a training incident. That's really sad to hear. Also in the article, you can kind of, you know, go through that if you'd like and hear more about what Steve Sachs had to say. It was really sad, you know, heartwarming stuff. But definitely, maybe it might be time to retire this airplane, maybe, or this aircraft, if you will. Because if there's already people who are saying like, hey, this isn't really good, technology to be using, obviously the military industrial complex that we have here, the money that we put into our military, we should be able to like have the tip of the cream of the crop. This should be happening like 0 times, I would think. So the fact that it's happened like back to back is definitely not good. I wouldn't say so much like a conspiracy or anything like that, but definitely just like, hey, this is definitely a lapse maybe in judgment in terms of like maybe this technology, this aircraft is obsolete. So yeah, just wanted to say that, cover that real quick. Thanks for tuning in, sticking in for this little bit of a bonus episode, a little leftovers, if you will. The Patreon, the Google, the socials. You can find me. So I'll see you soon for some more good news. Thanks for tuning in. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.